Welcome back to the Unique and You podcast. My name is Dr. Kyene Robinson. I'm your host, and here we focus on the mind, body, and soul, and empowering you to live boldly, confidently, and authentically. And in today's episode, if you couldn't tell already, we're going to be talking about physical activity, but not just from a physical standpoint, but we're also going to be connecting it with the mind, body, and soul. So, not just weight loss, not just fitness goals, but we're going to be talking about other benefits of physical activity and helping you to become more disciplined and achieve your health goals. Stay tuned. So, next, I want to talk about the difference between physical activity and exercise. Physical activity is any movement of the body that exerts energy. So this can be walking to your car. This can be gardening. This can be cleaning your house. It takes work and energy to clean your house, especially if you're cleaning them shower doors or vacuuming your carpet. That requires energy and you're burning calories. Exercise is usually more structured, planned, and involves some type of repetitive motion with the goal of improving your fitness or overall health. So this is more so going to the gym. This may be doing a workout routine. This may be going for a run, going for a jog, things of that nature. But I wanted to make sure I shared the difference because for some people, they may not be able to exercise, but they can participate in physical activity. Exercise is a type of physical activity. So all exercise is physical activity, but not all physical activity is an exercise. And I want to call that out because sometimes we have to celebrate our small steps. Not everyone is at the level where they're able to go to the gym, where they're able to go for a run or a jog. But I want to make sure that they know as long as they're moving their body, whether that looks like them just getting up out of bed and cleaning their home, or getting up out of bed and walking to the mailbox. A win is a win. We have to start from somewhere. So I want to make sure that they know that counts. So for the remainder of the video, I'm going to be using physical activity because that includes everything. That includes all movement of the body, whether it's structured or unstructured. And I want to make sure that I'm inclusive of everyone, regardless of where you are in your fitness journey. So I also want to talk about the benefits of physical activity. And by no means, this is not an exhaustive list of all the benefits. There's so many, but I just want to name a couple, some of the main ones. And like most of us, when we think about physical activity, we think about weight loss. And one of the main benefits of physical activity is achieving and maintaining a healthy weight. So as you're moving your body, you're burning calories, you're using energy, and you're going to lose weight. And some of you may ask, how do I know when I've achieved a healthy weight? A good indicator or a weight screening tool is a body mass index, BMI. It is a screening tool to determine whether they have a healthy weight status. And I will say that this screening tool does have some limitations. It is used by most practices in the medical field to help as an indicator, but there are some things that it doesn't take into consideration. It doesn't take muscle mass into consideration. It also doesn't take into consideration fat distribution, where you hold your weight. In the medical field, there are certain areas that if they hold more weight, you're at increased risk for certain chronic conditions, and that's in the abdominal area. But there are limitations to the BMI. I'll also share that last year I was considered as obese when using the BMI scale. So I have a lot of muscle, and as we all know, muscle weighs more than fat, and that can give you an not ideal body weight. And then more recently, right now, I'm considered overweight. So take that with caution, especially if you do have a lot of muscle mass. Next benefit, it improves bone function. It improves bone function. It also lowers your risk of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes too. So if you're someone who has a history of some of those conditions, this may be something that you want to take more seriously or be more intentional about to lower your risk of developing some of these chronic conditions as well. It also helps to improve your sleep, your quality of sleep. So who doesn't want to sleep better? Who doesn't want to have deeper, longer cycles of sleep? I know I do, okay? So it's definitely a great way to improve your sleep. However, I do caution you to working out or participating in physical activity right before bed because that can keep you up at night. That's exerting a lot of energy, especially if it's intense training. So try not to do that right before bed. It definitely would improve your quality of sleep. You want to catch them Z's, you want to catch that REM sleep. You're going to have better and deeper cycles. My personal favorite is mental health. It helps to improve feelings of anxiety. It helps to improve mood. I can go on and on and on. I have the privilege of working out during my lunch break. And after a long morning of meetings, stressful tasks, and assignments, a lot of times I'm tense. I have feelings of a little bit of anxiety. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. But once I get that workout in, I have the privilege of going to my clubhouse and I like to run. I'm a runner. That's something that I like to do. And I get on a treadmill and I love working out in my clubhouse because there's never anyone else in there and I get to really focus in. There's no distractions. And it's a time where I get to really disconnect from everything else. So I'm not worried about what I have left to do when I get back to my office, when I get back to my desk, all the projects and assignments that I have, I lock in. When those headphones go in, I put my little Christian gospel music on. I like Christian rap, so I need something a little bit upbeat. Can't have something too slow to, don't get me moving. But I put in my Christian rap in, and it just keeps me going. And let me tell you how strong the mind is, you guys. So I like to run for about 15 to 20 minutes at a time. And there are some days where I'm so overwhelmed, so stressed, anxious, whatever the feeling is. And I go in there and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do 20 minutes a day. I think I'm just gonna do 10. And I quickly have to tell myself, no, you can do it and you will do it. Because just because you don't feel like it at that moment, and that's how I know when I'm not locked in, because I've done it before. I've been doing it for weeks and months at a time. So why all of a sudden I can't do it? So a lot of times you have to work through, and that's how I know when I'm not focused or I'm not locked in. And that's when I really have to turn the music up and I really have to just dig deeper in order to accomplish those skills. But don't allow your mind to talk you out of things. The mind is a powerful tool. And a lot of times I have to speak life into myself. I have to tell, because I know once I get off that treadmill, I'm going to feel so much better. It has never failed me once. The stress, the load, everything just melts off. I go back to work feeling more energized. I had clarity in my mind, and it's just like everything is just working for me. I mean, it's the best thing, and I can't stress that enough. So that is my motivation, because I know the days that I miss, I ain't there. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm irritated, I'm frustrated, all of those emotions. But I know once I get that 30-minute workout, I'm gonna be good to go. I'm gonna be good. So as we get older, we have to become very intentional about our physical activity. When you think of a child, they're very active. They're always running around. But as we get older, especially 30 and up, as we get into our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s, we are not naturally physically active. We have to be very intentional about the steps because we're tired, we're hurting. So I want to share what the CDC recommends as far as physical activity. So the CDC, they have two categories for aerobic exercises. Aerobic exercises are exercises that get your heart rate up for a sustained period of time. They work that cardiovascular system. And the two categories is moderate intensity and then vigorous intensity. Moderate intensity, they recommend that you do 150 minutes per week. And I know looking at that, that's a long time. That's a whole movie, y'all. And some. So when we look at moderate activity and we break it down into increments per week, let's say we did 5 days a week, that goes down to 30 minutes, 5 days out of a week. That is doable. So what can that look like? That may look like going for a walk or a light jog in your neighborhood. And you don't have to do it straight. You can take your time. You can take breaks. But as long as you get the minutes in and you're moving your body, that's what matters. The other type is vigorous activity. I like to get in and out. For someone who likes to do high intensity training, they recommend 75 minutes per week. So when you break that down into increments, that boils down to 15 to 25 minutes, 3 to 5 days out of the week. So this may look like going for a run. This may be doing some stair climbing, whatever it is, but vigorous activity. It just means that you're working at a higher level or a high intensity. So y'all already know that I can't talk about growth without talking about faith. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 and 20, it talks about how our body is a temple. What that means is that our bodies is not just physical, but it's also spiritual, and that it is sacred. So something that is sacred should not be neglected and should not be mistreated. So we have to make sure that we are good stewards of our body from the inside out. Next, we're going to talk about 5 practical ways to help you either start or remain consistent in your physical journey. Number 1, set a routine. Pick a day and a time during the week that you can commit to working out. For me, I like to work out on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays during my lunch hour. So I make sure that I do not schedule any meetings or anything else during that hour so I can make sure that I work out. Number 2, focus on consistency. And let's be real, the hardest thing about working out isn't working out, but it's remaining consistent. How many times have we started a workout routine or said we was going to go to the gym and we did it for the first week or the first couple of days, but then we fell out of routine? Start small. Even if your goal is to just make it into the gym building 3 days out of the week. Small steps or increments leads to big wins. Even when you're at the gym, even if you're not doing the recommended 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, even if you start off with 10 minutes, if that's all you can do, that's better than none. So be consistent with that 10 minutes, and then over time, you can build it up. Number 3, track your progress. I have a fitness watch that I like to use to track my level of intensity and the number of minutes that I'm working out. But for you, it may look different. You may be tracking the number of steps that you take. You may be tracking the number of days that you're going to the gym or participating in physical activity. Or you may be even tracking your mood. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more clarity. You may have better sleep, but track your progress. And I promise you, once you start noticing the benefits, you're going to want to stick to that routine. It's going to be encouraging. It's going to motivate you. So make sure that you're tracking your progress, whether it's how you feel, whether it's the weight loss, the inches, the steps, the number of minutes working out, but track your progress. Number 4, and this is big, y'all. Don't compare. This is your journey. So don't be worried about someone else running 2 miles. That doesn't mean that you need to run 2 miles. Don't be worried about someone else that can lift 100 pounds. That doesn't mean that you need to lift 100 pounds. But the only comparison that we need to be making is if we're better than who we were yesterday. Even if we're working out 1 minute longer than what we worked out yesterday, that is a win. That is growth. We have to sometimes celebrate the small wins. Small wins, small steps lead to big increments. But we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to other people. If you haven't already, go back and watch my episode on comparison. Number 5, find what you enjoy. And what do I mean by this? Not everyone is a runner. I love to run. I get so much clarity and freedom from running. But for someone else, that may not be the case. There's many people that cannot stand running, and that's okay. You have to find something that you enjoy. It may be going on for walks. It may be doing Stairmaster. It may be doing jumping jacks. It may be doing jump rope. It may be playing a sport, playing tennis, playing racquetball. They're going swimming. There's a number of things that you can do to be physically active. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be what your neighbor is doing. Do what you enjoy, because if you don't, then you'll hate it and you won't stick with it. You won't be consistent. So make sure you find what you enjoy doing so that you can enjoy doing it and remain consistent. So next we have the featured earring of the week. And for those that are new to my podcast, I make handmade earrings. And today we have these very special earrings that are part of my spring and summer collection. And they have real flowers in the inside. Flowers represent growth. Okay, so what better way to celebrate spring and summer than to wear earrings that have actual real flowers in the inside? So if you're interested in these earrings, please visit my website at www.theuniqueinYou.com. And if you made it this far in this episode, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, embrace the unique in you.